There's a large group of West Indians who came and worked for the Canal and got to live in the Canal area, and it had its benefits and it had its drawbacks. Their whole life was regimented within that, both in living, education, etc. There's another group, some who worked on his own but elected to live in Panama, bought properties and lived, but worked on his own. And there's another group who never worked on his own, who became either teachers, worked with companies, where a lot were educated, both male and female secretaries who worked in different companies and dedicated themselves to sports, to different things, had their own business. Some of them were tailors, some were carpenters, construction people, and by so did not work on his own, just dedicated themselves. And their prime market was, of course, the people of West Indian origin.
Originally, I came to Panama. I was born in the Canal Zone in Silver City, in the Canal Zone. And I grew up in the Silver City, and I came to Panama first in 42 and started to work. Then I went back to Colon in 45, and I came back over here in 47.
And I'm not a Zonian, and a lot of people think that everybody that is here, that is West Indian in Panama, is Zonians. But there are plenty West Indian that came to Panama that did not work in the Canal Zone. My grandfather came to Panama because he was having a problem with his family in Jamaica, and Panama was the best thing to do. So he got on the boat and he came to Panama, and then he never went back. I was born in 1940 in a small town in the Atlantic side by the name of New Providence. The town was given to the West Indian community that came to Panama and that was living where there is now the Panama Canal Lake, the Gatun Lake. So in order to have them live somewhere, they took them to that place and gave it the name of New Providence. They also moved the people that didn't want to go back to Jamaica or the islands and gave them land and a lot to live in New Providence.
I speak for those who did not live on his own. I do not know enough about their challenges and problems. But those who did not, those that lived in Panama City, I would say integrated more, contributed in different levels, and adapted to the culture. They had to learn the language, which those that lived on his own did not have to. And they did not have the medical facilities that they would have had there. So they had to learn how to move around in that. And that's a big story untold. Most of the leadership from the West Indian community who writes and who actually is reflected in the Panama Tribune and those things were people who lived on his own, because that was the biggest demand at that time. But there is a large segment who was not part of that, who lived in Panama. And that story has not been really told yet.